Hi. So when I was asked to do this interview for your blog, I kind of got an idea since on my blog I've been playing around with video blogging. So I thought maybe I would answer some of your questions in kind of a glamorous dressing room poison ivy version of myself. So here goes. Well, I go by Ginger Kate online. It's something that's kind of stuck since I started blogging in 2008. My blog is gingerkate.com, which is ginger-kate.com. On Instagram, you can find me at gingerkate, which is ginger with little periods in between, so like G period, I period, N period, all the way down to Kate. My Facebook page is Ginger Kate Cosplay, but I might be changing that soon to just do Ginger Kate. And then on YouTube, I'm the letter X, Ginger Kate, because I was a little late to the YouTube game, so the name was already taken. My favorite beverages are Starbucks cold brews. I'm addicted to those. Otherwise, Coca-Cola from a can. And I love Jameson. I love Jameson a lot, so. Well, I'm a new mommy. I'm about to get married. I've been engaged for a while now, but our baby was a beautiful surprise, so we put off planning our wedding. And in the last few weeks, I've been throwing a wedding together. You might hear my baby giggling. She's actually watching me right now. She thinks it's funny when mommy plays dress up. I'm the oldest of 3 sisters, so that's something that's really important to us. I'm a career bartender, also bar manager before I got pregnant with my daughter. That's what I was doing. But my background is in media and marketing. I used to be a marketing director for a fairly well-off urgent care here in the area, as well as, just the media portions of other places that I've worked for, like within the theater community. Well, that's me. I'm a dog lover. We have 2 dogs between us, me and my fiance, my little Lucy girl, his Finn, and there used to be a 3rd, Jackie Doodle. He was with me since I was 20 years old and I first moved out of my family's house, but he crossed the Rainbow Bridge back at the end of March, and we miss him very much. Well, I've always had a love of costuming, even when I was a kid. I used to love dressing up. Halloween was like the best day of the year. In high school and college, I went to school for theater, so I always did my tech assignments within the costuming department. But as far as actually cosplaying, with the intent to actually cosplay, that started in 2010, and my very first cosplay was Poison Ivy. That's why I love her so much. Because it's fun. I think it also kind of feeds into that itch, that hunger I have for the performing arts. Not only do you get to dress up, but you get to kind of play the character. So that's always a lot of fun. And that's really it, because it's fun. And it's a great creative outlet. And also probably because of, the people I meet doing cosplay. I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of really talented friends within the cosplay community who surround me, and we kind of inspire each other. One of those friends in particular, Robert, over at Cosplay Speaks, he's been able to take his status of being autistic and his love of cosplay and kind of merge them together to reach out to others on the spectrum and show them that you could do anything you want. So he's one of my favorite cosplayers. As far as more recognizable names go, Yaya. I mean, come on, she's the queen. But also Scruffy Rebel, who was Victoria, if you ever watched Heroes of Cosplay on, I believe it was the SciFi channel. And I actually got the chance to meet both of those ladies separately at 2 different cons, so that's probably why they're my favorites. But I follow Scruffy. She actually follows me sometimes. She knew who I was when I was like, I love you. So that was cool. She has her clothing line, Gold Bubble Clothing, with her longtime, well, he's her fiance now, because I think they got engaged on the show. But they make really cool fandom dresses, and I've always loved her style. So I guess she's probably my favorite cosplayer. I do a lot of sci-fi, mostly Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars, But I also do cartoons like Chucky Finster and Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus. But also obviously some comic book characters, specifically Gotham City characters. That's pretty much who I cosplay the most. Well, Poison Ivy. She's my bread and butter. She was my very first actual cosplay. I have several different variations of her. But also the 10th Doctor from Doctor Who. I have a couple different versions, kind of a gender bend, femme version of 10 that I really enjoy doing. And I've met a few of the actors at cons, so I usually end up in my 10th Doctor cosplays. But those two are my absolute favorites. I never thought that I would get the opportunity to cosplay Batwoman because it's so complicated. But actually recently I got the courage to do that. So that I'm currently working on that. Kind of a version based on the new CW show starring Ruby Rose coming out. I'm kind of working on that. So Batwoman. But I would say if there's any cosplay I've ever wanted to do, there's really not much holding me back. I mean, other than financially. But I usually find a way to make it work. I'm a thrifty little shopper, so there's no limit. If you want to cosplay it, you can do it. I do a lot of refurbishments and alterations. In fact, some of my cosplays have started 100% because I was in a thrift store and I found a really cool piece and it inspired me to make a cosplay. So I do a lot of piecing together. I purchase pieces and I alter them and put them together. I've never actually made a cosplay 100% from scratch, but I have made pieces from scratch. And I've also never 100% just purchased a completed cosplay. So I guess I'm kind of like a little, I don't know, I piece it together. And then I do a lot of alterations on stuff. So that's how I usually make my cosplays. I would say what I love most is the camaraderie. I've met a lot of some of the best people in my life through cosplay. And I have people who I consider my close friends who I only ever see when I go to conventions. So I would say the friendships. And the fun. And the chance to play pretend. And the chance to dress up and be someone else. But mostly the camaraderie, the friendships. I would say sometimes the lack of confidence. I can come off as a very overconfident person, and I think that might be kind of an armor I wear, just based on my experiences growing up, being teased. And sometimes even within the cosplay community, which is very welcoming and warm and protective of each other, sometimes you do get those elitists who, I don't know, sometimes I personally feel like I get looked at as, well, it's not even how I feel. I've 100% straight up been called a fake nerd girl who cosplays for the likes. And go to my Instagram, I don't get that many likes. I'm not that cool. So that kind of gets to me sometimes. So I would say that the hardest thing is just maintaining my confidence. Some cosplays take a lot of balls to put on and show up, and if I do a sexy Darth Vader, is that just going to perpetuate this false idea that I'm this Instagram model wannabe who's trying to invade nerd culture now that it's kind of become a mainstream thing? So I kind of got to get out of my head. Those are my own problems. That's a confidence thing. As much as I preach confidence, that's the hardest thing about cosplay for me, is finding that confidence. My favorite cosplays to play are 100% the 10th Doctor, because he's just so zany and out there, and pretty much anything you do flies. Poison Ivy, because she's got this sexy sensuality that, this femme fatale, which is not me. So it's fun to get to do that, but the most fun one to play would be my glam Darth Vader, because Vader doesn't give a crap. He'll force choke you. It gets real. And I have these big Kiss drag queen boots I wear with it, so I'm 6'4" when I'm doing it. So those are my favorites to cosplay. Anyone who answers anything other than the Wizarding World of Harry Potter is a liar, because it's the only correct answer to this question. Unless we're going to go with the Doctor Who world, but that would only be pertinent if the Doctor and his TARDIS flew in right now and picked me up and we went time traveling and space traveling. But other than that, the Wizarding World, man, who doesn't want to be a freaking wizard? Come on. Lots of places. Sometimes it's comic artwork or fan artwork. Sometimes I'll find a really cool piece in a thrift store. Like, for example, I found the perfect jacket to do a female Captain Jack Harkness. And I did it, and I loved it, and it was a super cool cosplay. And I have no idea where that jacket went now. I have a sneaking suspicion my mother threw it away. But also, some of my inspiration will come from my friends. I mentioned that I'm working on a Batwoman cosplay, and it's 100% because my friend Michelle, who she had to go and move on me. She moved out to Vegas, and she's the one who gave me the confidence, that chutzpah I needed to work on Batwoman. So whenever Batwoman is completed, that's for you, Michelle. Well, definitely Doctor Who, Harry Potter, DC Comics, but specifically Batman, Gotham related, Star Trek, Star Wars, the Marvel Universe. I would say those are probably my most favorites. Just to not be afraid. There's always going to be buttholes around who might try and say something nasty to you, but overall the cosplay community is super inclusive and super protective of their own. And if it's something you want to cosplay, throw it on, make it, and then head out the door, because somebody, if not everybody you encounter, is going to give you so much credit for showing up, balling out, and being a badass. So just do it. Just have the confidence. Don't hold back. If this is something you want to do and you've seen other people do it and you think, gosh, I wish I could do that, but I could never do that. Just do it. Do it already. What was that shy? Just do it. Yesterday you said today. You can turn something into something amazing with just a few simple tweaks, basic skills, like the most basic of skills. You don't have to be a super seamstress or know how to work with EVA foam and heating guns and armor. Like, with a few little tweaks, you can take basically nothing and make it something. That I would say is my biggest trick. Just kind of roll with it. Probably just that we have fun and we're fully aware that we're weirdos. And, you go do what you love, that you have fun, and you might be a weirdo too, but, we're not holding ourselves back. We're out there. We're having a good time. Are you? I mentioned it a couple of times, but Batwoman, specifically inspired by the new CW show. Yes, I know, Penelope. I'm also working on Bombshells, DC Bombshells version of Poison Ivy. And I'm also doing a bunch of little cosplays of Disney princesses. I'm doing kind of a series coming up on my blog of just Disney princesses in everyday clothing, kind of inspired by Wreck-It Ralph too. That kind of stuff. Just the Disney girls doing their thing. Oh, gosh, I don't even know. There's so many. I can't think of anything specifically right now. But I would probably do everything. Honestly, I would do free. If I had all the time and money in the world, no restrictions, I would do pretty much free commissions for everybody who I love and adore. And whatever the heck it is that they want to do, I would make it for them. That's what I would do. You can find my cosplays on my blog. Like I mentioned earlier, it's ginger-kate.com. On my Instagram page, gingerkate, but with periods between all the letters. Also on my Facebook page, Ginger Kate, one word, separate, cosplay, Ginger Kate Cosplay on Facebook. And I guess here on this blog, you can find me. I think you pretty much covered it. maybe include what are your favorite cons to go to. And since I'm on Florida's Treasure Coast, mine are a lot of state cons. I've actually never been to a con out of state. So I go to MegaCon Orlando every year, except this year because I had a little baby nugget. MegaCon Tampa Bay Comic-Con, Florida SuperCon. Those are my favorites to go to. We actually had a local con for a couple of years, but that didn't really work out well. But I got to host trivia for it. That was fun. I got my little moment in the spotlight. That was a good time. You might also want to ask what to do as a cosplayer if you encounter like that elitist cosplay bully BS that I mentioned earlier. And personally, if I was answering that question, my answer is to tell them to F off straight away. You know, you may not have courage, you may not have confidence, but in that sort of a situation, any type of bully situation, tell them to kick rocks, man. If you just assert a little bit of confidence, they'll stop. Promise. Before I go, I really wanted to say thank you for inviting me to be part of your blog. Hi, Penelope. Yes. It's a huge honor. It's nice to make new friends within the community. Oh, my baby's crying, so I gotta go. But thank you for having me be a part of this. I had such fun. Thank you so much. I look forward to talking more in the future. And for all of you watching, I hope you'll check out my blog. Check me out on Instagram, Facebook. Hi, Angel Cake. You gonna check Mommy out on her blog? She's like fake laughing, fake crying. She's doing it all. But thank you so much. I had a blast. Mwah. Have a great one.